Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome if you're new. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into today's video. So for today's video, as you guys saw by the thumbnail and title, this is going to be a very interesting video. I'm finally going to be giving a swing at those really popular like flower garden nails that everyone was inspired by at the beginning of spring. I've had this on my list of ideas for the longest time, and I don't know why. I just procrastinate a lot. I get a lot of PR packages, and to be honest, it's just hard to juggle a lot of this stuff at once, so it kind of puts me back on some of the ideas that I want to do. But what really gave me like the final push to actually go ahead and get this video out is I seen another creator on Instagram do it, and I was like, what am I waiting for? Like, let me just go ahead and get it out, because spring is over and summer has officially begun. So technically I am like so late with this, but yeah, I did still want to try it. I just love how they look, how like fairycore they look. They just look so aesthetically pleasing, so I just wanted to go ahead and get it out now before I procrastinate any more. So basically what I've done to my nails is I went ahead and applied my peel off base. I applied my square nail tips, which I did keep long. I did buff over like the surface shine, and now I added a thin layer of base coat, which I went ahead and cured for 30 seconds. Now originally when I wanted to start this design, so this is what I end up doing, because at the time, which was the day before I'm actually recording this video, I didn't want to put these on my nails yet, and since they were like really long, I just thought it would be a lot easier to just do them as press on nails. But I wanted to do an acrylic base, and what I was trying to do was like keep it very thin, and then like just thinking about all the steps that's gonna play into it, I just felt like it would have been really hard to get them even, like file them, make them the opacity I want while trying to keep these thin, because whenever I do acrylic press on nails, like they just get really bulky, and I don't know why. They just don't really look right around my cuticle area. So once I did apply like that base to those nails, I end up scrapping that because I just didn't want to finish it, and I felt like it would be better to just do them on my nails. So that's what I'm going to be doing here, and as you guys can already see, I've already started to apply my polygel. This polygel is called Kiki from Macart. And if you want this polygel, it is listed down below in my Amazon storefront, so be sure to check that out. But this polygel application is going to be really simple. I'm going to be applying this color to all of my nails as a plain base, and I just feel like this is such a perfect cover color. Like if you want bases for French tips, like any type of design, this is definitely a color that you need in your collection. And I did speed this part up quite a bit, because if you see my last video, you will realize that it's going to be very similar to that video up until I put on my design. I basically did the same exact thing, and I don't want to drag it out too long, so I did just go ahead and speed it up. But I will tell you guys that I am going to be doing 2 beads. I don't know if that's what you would call polygel. I always say beads, but I don't know if that's the correct term. But I'm going to be doing 2 beads of polygel. The first one being sort of like a line going down the entire nail, and then I work that over the surface. Of course, like I always explain my polygel applications, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but y'all, I literally think like of all the polygel videos I see, the way I apply it is just the most satisfying ever. And I just feel like whenever you are applying polygel, if you follow like the steps that I'm doing to apply it, it will help you get a better and neater application. And don't get me wrong, I do know there are different ways to apply polygel, so I'm not saying there's just one way to do it. However, I feel like this is just like the most I can't think of the right word, but like I just feel like this is just the best way to apply it to get a perfect application. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just love the way I've been applying my polygel, and definitely try out this technique and let me know if your application becomes better. But yeah, I'm just gonna be applying this. The second bead is gonna be more up towards the cuticle and apex area, because I do want that to be a little higher up than the rest of the actual application. I have been trying to keep my polygel nails more on the thinner side, and I do feel like it helps my shape become a little bit better. No, actually not a little bit, a lot better. Like whenever I'm keeping my nails more on the thinner side, they just look a lot more professional and more neatly done. And so yeah, that's basically how I'm gonna go about my application, doing 2 beads over each nail, which I will just let you guys go ahead and watch, because like I said, if you watch my last video, it's gonna be very similar. So I don't really need to like explain everything. I'm just gonna be doing my polygel and filing, shaping these up. So now that I've done all of my polygel applications, I did my thumb off camera, and this is how just the application looks. Next, I'm going to be wiping these nails down to make sure that none of that tacky layer is still there. And before we get into the filing, I am going to quickly unbox a new drill that Melody Susie sent over to me. I will have this link down below if you guys want to check it out. But I'm not going to lie, I almost forgot that I even had this package, but I feel like this was such a perfect opportunity to go ahead and get this out the way, review it, and let you guys know what I think about it. So quickly, I'm just going to go ahead and unbox everything. Of course, it comes with the warranty card and the instruction manuals, the specifications. Always make sure to look through this because drills are different. They have different specifications sometimes, so always make sure to go over it and be safe when using these type of products. But this is how the drill looks, and when I was recording, if you guys could hear like the original audio, I could barely contain my excitement because my immediate thought was how cute and adorable this drill is. I don't think I've ever seen a drill like this small. Now I did notice how small the box was, but I didn't like, I don't know what I was expecting, but I was not disappointed at all. I feel like the design of the drill is very like minimalistic but still pleasing to the eye. Like, it's simple, straight to the point, only what you need, nothing more, nothing less. And I feel like with the size of this drill, it's gonna be really convenient if you have like not really a big work area. Like, I know my area now is pretty decent, but even now I feel like my drills and nail lamps are always like kind of in the way, so I try to scoot them back as far as I can. But with this drill, I have already replaced my 𝚙𝚘𝚘𝚍 drill. Like, that is the one I've always had like displayed on my desk, and I would use it a lot. Right when I finished unboxing this and using it, I immediately switched them out. So now this drill is sitting on my desk and I am really loving it. So I just went ahead and unboxed everything else for you guys to see. Well, not everything else, but I did show you guys the handpiece, and I just quickly connected the cord for the handpiece to the drill. And this is just the rest of the stuff in the box. It does come with a charger and its own wall piece, which I was really happy about. It comes with some sanding bands and this little clip here that I always love to clip on the sides. Whenever I get a drill, I always clip this on because I just love the way my handpiece is like really close by. And last but not least, the set of prepping bits. I'm not going to be using those bits because I already prepped my nails, and the only thing we have left to do is just file, shape them, seal in my cuticle areas and stuff like that. But quickly before we get into it, I did just want to show you guys the LED screen and how it looks. It's kind of like blinging out because of the camera, but this is basically what it looks like. It shows the battery percentage, it shows how many RPMs you have set it to. Also, it has a pause and play button, which I really like because sometimes like in the middle of filing, I do want to stop my drill sometimes, but instead of like turning it all the way off, I could just press one button and it pause and then just pick back up at the RPMs that I'm using, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's really nice that it does that. Of course, it has the forward and reverse button just like any other drill. I was really ready to see how this drill performed because since it is so small, it may not have the power to work how the other like standard size drills work. So I was really excited to just see how it works. Before we get into actually using the drill, I do have to shape these nails up, so I'm gonna show a couple nails on camera of me just filing the sides and reshaping them. I'm also gonna be taking my hand file and just smoothing out the surface because when I use polygel, I love to stick more towards my hand file because I do have a little bit more control when working with them. So once I finish filing and shaping up my nails a little bit, you'll see me go in with this e-file and seal around my cuticle areas and do a little bit more shaping underneath. So me using this drill, now that I've actually got the experience to try it and file my nails with it, I am beyond impressed with this drill because honestly, like 𝚙𝚙𝚘𝚍𝚘𝚘𝚘 has never failed me when it comes to their products. They've sent me so many drills and I've loved every one. I feel like every time I get a new drill from them, it just gets better and better in like a very unexplainable way. Like with this drill, I love the size of it, and like I was saying, I was just really like just trying to see if it would be as powerful as the other drills, and it definitely was. Like this drill is very capable of handling any filing that you would want to do on your nails. Also, with it being so small, I was so impressed at how like the motor felt, and the handpiece, it felt really smooth. And of course you get like the typical humming feel because the drill is actually on, but it felt really smooth and it just felt really brushless. I don't know if that's the correct term, but it was really easygoing and smooth. Also, it was really quiet as well. So yeah, I have nothing else to say about this drill besides the fact that I was really shocked and really impressed. If you guys want to check out this drill, I will have it down below, and I also have a discount code that you guys can use on the 𝚙𝚙𝚘𝚍𝚘 website, which will be on the screen here and also down below. So make sure to check out that section. And just like all of the promotional PR packages, like all of that aside, I think 𝚙𝚙𝚘𝚘𝚘 is definitely a brand that's not talked about enough. All of their products have exceeded my expectations each and every time. All of their drills that I received are just so amazing. I feel like it's worth investing into if you really want like a drill that's gonna work and you can depend on, that's not like you're just buying it because of the name. Compared to other brands, I feel like 𝚙𝚙𝚘𝚘𝚘 is definitely a brand that you can invest in. I have never had a problem with them, so yeah, that's my take on that. Really enjoyed the nail drill. But before I finish up my filing, I did just want to show here how I was attempting to do the little moon shaped tips. It was so hard to do this part. Since these nails were long, it was kind of hard to get the angles I needed. But I have tried this maybe 2 or 3 times, but I've always done it with my hand file. So I just wanted to try it with a nail drill and see how it turns out. It wasn't really the best, but I do think it turned out decently. And then I also did finish off with some buffing, which I didn't show on camera, and just going back over my sides with my hand file. And now I'm going to be taking a stiff manicure brush and some alcohol and just brush over my nails to get rid of all of that dust. So for the start of my actual design, I'm going to be taking this sort of like a muted green. I really love this color. It's so pretty, but I'm going to be taking this color and doing some French tips over all of my nails. Again, very similar to my last video, I did the same exact thing, just using a different color. I am going to use green because once I put on like the grass for my garden, just in case I have like any see-through parts, I wanted this green to kind of make up for it in the background. Because originally I was thinking white just to do like an outline part, but honestly it was just so much smarter to do a green. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do my French tips, do some cleanup where I have to, and cure them for 30 seconds until I repeat that over all of my nails. And this is the part in the video where I quickly remind you guys that if you are enjoying today's video, you can let me know by leaving a like, subscribing if you haven't already, or just simply leaving a comment down below. So after all of my French tips are done, like all of that other stuff was just normal, but this is where the fun part comes in. So I did get this fake moss grass from Amazon. This will be linked down below in my Amazon storefront, so if you want some for yourself, be sure to check that out. But I did just go ahead and put it in my little tray, and I cut up pieces, like I tore it up, cut it up in really small pieces so that it's easier to apply to my nails. But before I go in and put this onto my nails, I just felt like it would have been smart, because I don't plan on doing anything else but adding this. So I want to have my top coat on like my nude part, like my smile line, nail bed area. I want that part to already be glossy, so I'm gonna go in with my top coat and cure this on before I go in with my moss and my charms and everything. So after I do apply my top coat, I'm gonna go ahead and cure this for 30 seconds. So to apply the moss, I'm going to be using this really thick builder gel. I originally bought this to do some 3D nail art back when I was doing like my 3D nail art, but I never opened it for it. But I thought it would be perfect to use for today, because just going in with this, using a thicker product may be better so that it sticks better to the nail. So I just went in squeezing that product over the entire French where I want to put this, and then I'm gonna swipe over my sides just how I would with the gel polish, because I don't want anything falling down like to the sides and getting stuck there. I do want to try to keep my shape as much as possible. So yeah, just give that a quick swipe, and then once I'm ready, I just go in and apply the moss to my tips. And not even kidding you guys, like right there, I just knew this was gonna be so much harder than I thought it was going to be. Even though I did cut up these moss pieces small, they were not small enough. So for this first go, I am just gonna like continue putting it on there as much as I can. And then once I get this cured in place, I'm gonna take my scissors and just cut them up a lot more. I did want to use like my grinder. I have this like grinder that I got a while ago to mix my acrylics, but for some reason I have no idea where it's at. I've looked everywhere it could possibly be and I just can't find it, but I guarantee you it's staring me right in the face like right now somewhere in my nail room. I just couldn't find it, so I wasn't able to use my grinder to cut up these grass pieces. However, my scissors did quite a decent job. And also, whenever I am like just putting it on there, I do try to like press it down so it's not as bulky. Like I said, I am trying to keep my shape as much as possible, so I do go in and continue like throughout the entire process. You will see me like just patting them down or just brushing in my sides, like just making sure that nothing is sticking out too far and everything is being glued down really nice and flat, or as flat as I can get it. This moss, it kind of felt like rubber in a way, not necessarily rubber, but it was just not the texture I was thinking it was gonna be. So I feel like that also made it a little bit challenging. I don't know if this is the same moss that everyone else is using, but my experience, I felt like this moss was kind of challenging to work with. So yeah, I just did the best I could. Basically on my first two nails I did edit this part out, but I did go back and like once I cured on my first layer, I did go back, add more gel and just kind of fill in like those empty spots with more grass, and that also helped kind of just fill in a lot more spaces, and it was easier compared to just trying to stick it on all at once. So yeah, just moving on to the next nail. Once I had my first one cured, as you guys can see, this moss is beginning to be a lot more easier to apply since I did cut them up a little bit smaller. I did feel like the stem pieces, like I don't know what to call it, but like the more stem pieces were really hard to get laid down. So you will see me kind of like try to just put on more of like the actual more softer leafy parts. I don't know the correct term, but yeah, I did go for those more because they are more likely to stick and lay down a little bit flatter. So for the rest of my nails, I did end up changing the gel I was using, and I went for this crazy top thick gel. Going into it, I thought using a really thick gel was gonna be the best, but turns out it was just really not really working out. Like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it was just annoyingly so sticky and thick that like I end up having to change my glove, because like me swiping down the sides from using that first gel was just like, it was just getting in the way. Like sometimes when I go to like stick on the moss to my nails and pat it down, it would just end up sticking right back to my glove instead of the nail. So yeah, I did end up switching out the gel, and this gel, it is pretty much thick, but it's not like annoyingly sticky like the other one was. And I feel like this did end up working better anyway, especially with like the smaller pieces of moss. I am going to show quite a bit more when it comes to like curing the first layer, adding more, since I am using a better gel. And when I get up towards like the smile line area, it did get a little bit more precise. So there you'll see me go in and use like the tweezers to specifically place it where I want. And that's basically how this process went. This was a very fun experience. Not really what I thought it was going to be, not as easy as I thought it was going to be, but the outcome was still very cute and I love the experience. I'm glad I was able to still do this, and I hope you guys did enjoy this video. But I'm going to let you guys watch the finished steps of me putting on this moss so we can get to the next fun part, which are the charms. After I have covered all of my tips with the moss, I did decide on cutting them down. So you see me taking my small scissors and just basically giving them a trim, because I wanted this to be really nice and flat, or as flat as I could get it, because I am going to be adding charms, which also in some parts you see me like trimming them down. It did kind of cut a little bit more than I wanted to, but that gave me perfect space for me to like actually glue on my charms. Like it kind of left like some, you know, space so the charms aren't just sitting up really bulky, even though of course they are, but in a sense where it just kind of gave me a little bit of room to like place my charms, if that makes sense. But yeah, I did go ahead and trim all of my nails down, and then I'm gonna go back in to apply all of my charms. I've got all of my charms laid out behind me. I just picked out a lot of different choices that gave me like Flowercore, fairycore vibes. I didn't even use like most of them. I think I only used like those flowers, like the biggest flower that I have on my nail now. I used that container, and also like the smaller flowers and pearls. I honestly don't even think I used anything else besides like the other silver butterflies. So like the other bigger cases of charms I didn't even use. But basically I'm just going to be adding that gel, the same gel I used the second time like for my last two nails. I'm going to be using that gel, placing it where I want to place my charms, and just dressing them up as I see fit. And this was very fun to do. I love this part. And I think after adding everything, it just really played out well. One thing I did expect was adding a lot more charms and like things. For some reason, I just couldn't really find a lot of the charms I wanted to go on my nails. Like it was just really hard to find. I don't know why. I have so much stuff, but whenever I look for it, I just can never find it. And that's also another reason why I haven't really done my organization video, because I feel like even though my stuff is just like messy all over the place, I know exactly where my stuff is, like most of everything for the most part. So if I was to like go in and switch up stuff, put items in different places, I'm just not gonna know where it's at anymore. So that's kind of why that video is late. But yeah, I just feel like I didn't really have a lot of the other charms I wanted to add. I wanted to add a lot more like silver charms, but I feel like these butterflies were great for it. And I feel like in the end it played out very well, because I didn't have a lot of space to add too much stuff anyway. So just these pearls and flowers and these silver butterflies played out really nice, and I really enjoyed it. I did cure each nail individually, and after I add on my charms and cure them, that's basically all I have to do. I did my thumb off camera for a reel. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please go ahead over there and follow me. But once I finished everything, I did apply some cuticle oil to re-nourish my cuticles. And once I rub that in, this is how the finished nails look, and I am so obsessed with how they turned out. These are everything I imagined them to be, besides the charms that I couldn't find. But I just think these are so dreamy. They're so like magical. They give me such a fairycore, flowercore vibe. And honestly, this just reminds me of like a Pinterest aesthetic. Like if you guys type in fairycore on Pinterest, I'm pretty sure something of the sort would come up. And I just really love how they look. I'm really happy at how they turned out. However, the moss did make my nails look so much thicker than I wanted them to be, so that part was a little bit challenging, trying to get them to lay flat. But again, that just comes with the design. But I really did enjoy how this set turned out, and I didn't have any sun to capture my nails in because it was a really cloudy day when I recorded this. So unfortunately I don't have any clips in the sun, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you thought about today's set, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.